You ever feel like your Doberman has the self-control of, a toddler who's running loose with a platinum credit card in the most expensive store in town? That kind of the attitude of, oh, I'll do this, and I'm gonna do this too. Well, there's a very good reason for that, and today we're breaking down what these dogs actually do that makes them really feel like tiny chaos tornadoes. We're also gonna talk about why they do it and how you can finally set some credit limits on their antics. I'm a dad, and I know toddlers, and I definitely know Dobermans too. And toddlers, and yes, often Dobermans, especially young ones, they share kind of this now mindset. No patience, no planning, just pure, bossy, dominant impulse. Their brains are just kind of wired that way. For toddlers, it's candy that seems to kind of get them fired up. For Dobies, it's squirrels, socks, their tug toy, anything that moves, really, also. And when they don't get it, yeah, it's meltdown mode. In fact, back in 2023, researchers actually found that the dogs that tend to display hyperactivity and impulsivity, something that really many people have described Dobermans as having for a long time now, they have lower serum dopamine levels, which explains why your Doberman sees a squirrel and immediately enters, that launch sequence mode. Zero hesitation, zero negotiation, just pure turbocharged commitment. Basically, if your Doberman had, a pause and think button, yeah, it's been factory disabled. Now, don't confuse this at all with me saying that they aren't smart dogs. They absolutely are. They're too smart sometimes. But what I'm saying here is that, like a lot of working breeds, they also rely heavily on instinct and impulse. That pause and think button in certain situations, definitely gone. Now, Hollywood loves painting Dobermans as furry, muscular, intense villains. We've seen it a million times in movies like Resident Evil, Naked Gun, and even good old Arnold Schwarzenegger has had to deal with a few scary guard Dobermans from time to time. But I mean, it's Arnold, so obviously it was no big issue.
Stay.
Okay, but here's really the truth of it. That intense stare, their iconic eye contact, that stoic expression, their muscular look, all this stuff, it's not aggression, it's focus. And their impulse spending isn't really rebellion, it's like just their genetic wiring. And lucky for us owners, they are just as likely to spend that mental energy on us as they are on, causing chaos in our homes. In fact, a 2021 study suggested that breeds that were specifically developed for visual cooperation with us humans, like Dobermans are, for example, they're more inclined to establish eye contact as a way to better communicate with their owners rather than intimidation. So Hollywood might actually paint them as, sidekicks to villains, but in reality, they're more like overgrown toddlers. They're chaotic, occasionally destructive, they're prone to the zoomies at the worst possible times, but at the end of the day, you wouldn't trade them for anything, even if your Doberman does cause you to, lose a little hair in the process. Your Doberman isn't trying to just drive you nuts. They're kind of just asking you, what's next, boss? But really, it's your job as their owner to channel that energy for good and not evil. Okay, let's talk about the first, toddler with a credit card type behavior, impulse spending. Or in other words, using their energy for bad and not good, which often looks like, destructive chewing in your house. That's probably the most common. Toddlers will max out your credit card if you give them one and, set them loose in a store and teach them how to swipe it. But it'll be tons of fun for them too. Dobies, they'll max out your couch, your trim work, maybe even your entire office. The fix for all that energy? Redirection. Give them a Kong toy, or a puzzle toy, or a lick mat like this one, and just spread on some Ollie dog food, maybe the beef recipe, because that's kind of like crack to them, and set them loose on it. It gives them a great outlet for all that energy, and it'll ensure that they don't really just go crazy with it and drive you nuts in the process. Another real classic toddler with a credit card type behavior that these dogs do, ignoring limits. In other words, testing your boundaries. Toddlers, they sneak cookies. And Dobies, they like sneaking on your bed or your couch. And like any good bank with its customers, you as the owner need to set firm credit limits or firm boundary limits. So when they force their way onto your lap, or they're barking in your face, or they demand attention from you when they want it and you can't give it to them, believe it or not, with Dobermans, you can actually solve this type of behavior with a simple yoga mat and a go to place command, where they'll learn to settle down and soothe themselves, have no tantrums, just calmness. And as a bonus, you'll end up with a really cool mobile calm down mat that you can take with you when you travel with your dog, just like this owner does as she travels all over the world with her Doberman. And of course, let's not forget about emotional chargebacks with Dobermans too. In other words, separation anxiety. And you feel really bad about it too because they sound just so pitiful when you leave them. Toddlers seem to always melt down about nap time, but Dobies, they panic when you leave. So what's the fix? Just keep them calm, practice grabbing your keys and coat a lot throughout the day, and teach them that you'll always come back when you leave. Then you'll minimize those emotional chargebacks. So yeah, in other words, just kind of fake them out over and over until they don't care when you actually leave. This is called desensitization training, believe it or not. And desensitizing your Doberman to your absence, it works, believe me. In fact, a study in applied animal behavior science found that slowly easing dogs into alone time over the course of 3 months, 6 out of 8 dogs that showed total huge problems with separation anxiety, 6 out of 8 of them, complete elimination of their anxiety-driven issues. So if you give your Doberman time to adjust little by little, they'll realize that you're not abandoning them forever. You're probably just, going out to get more treats. Okay, so how do we, cut up that credit card? How do we ensure that these negative behaviors don't take over our lives? Well, Dobermans, they need a few things to keep their lives calm and focused. First, they need about 1 to 2 hours of exercise every day at least. They also need to be mentally stimulated and continuously challenged. They also need a job to do each day, like maybe a perimeter check of your house, for example, and a consistent leader in the home, as well as a strong routine. These are sort of the core critical things that Dobermans need to really ensure that they don't kind of just go nuts with anxiety. Stimulating their brain is critical because they're highly intelligent, and owners report that when they challenge their dog mentally and consistently, they're more relaxed during the day. Also, a simple job like getting the paper or checking the fence line of your backyard each day gives them a purpose and keeps anxiety low. A strong leader and a strong routine in the house, they both keep them calm and relaxed. They help them know what to expect, both from you and just from the daily events that are gonna go on. And in fact, a strong routine is one of the quickest ways and the best ways to get a young Doberman puppy comfortable really fast in your home after you first bring them home. Why? Because it works. It creates security for this breed. Strong routine equals security. Now, so far, we've talked a lot about channeling your Doberman's energy and about building focus and ultimately creating that bond that feels less like, owner and pet and more like family. And just like you wouldn't feed your family leftovers from a drive-through, well, a lot of us really need to think about upgrading what we feed our Dobermans. Ollie is our sponsor here at Doberman Planet, and we're really proud that they are because we really do believe that their food is something special. And we recommend them to new dog owners all the time. We've been doing this long before they ever became our sponsor. Ollie's fresh human-grade meals, they work for all breeds, not just Dobermans, because their meal plans are customized to your individual dog. And their meals are crafted with really the same attention that you give your home-cooked dinner for your family. Every recipe is designed with veterinary nutritionists to fuel your dog's brain, their muscles, and of course, that amazing focus. Ollie delivers fresh, real food straight to your door. No preservatives, no fillers, just ingredients that you recognize like those in your own kitchen. And we know how incredibly important quality meats are to our dogs, especially as Doberman owners. Well, Ollie's meats aren't like many other guys out there who just, skimp on the meats because that's the expensive part of the meal. No, with Ollie, it's real high quality meats, and they're the first ingredient in all their meals. And right now you can try Ollie for 60% off of your very first box. Just use Doberman Planet's code. It's Doberman Planet, all caps, all one word at checkout. It's exclusive just for our viewers. And you can click the link in the description down below to go to Ollie's page, or you can just go to dobermanplanet.com/freshfood, and that'll take you straight to Ollie, and you can try it out for yourself. Because Dobermans mirror us, and when you treat them like family, they're gonna act like your family member. So go to dobermanplanet.com/freshfood right now, and your dog will be really glad you did. If your Dobie's a chaos toddler, definitely leave a comment down below. Okay, well actually, honestly, if you have any dog, any breed that's a chaos toddler causing you to, lose your hair like me, drop a comment down below. I wanna hear the craziest shenanigans that your dogs have gotten into. I wanna hear the trouble that they've caused, especially when they were young little chaos tornadoes. And it might be a good therapeutic way for you to get that bad experience off of your chest, and it'll be a lot of fun for us to read too. Keep being great Doberman breed ambassadors, guys. Tell everyone out there about how wonderful this breed really is, and I'll see you on next week's video for sure. See you then.